Well, I have with me in the studio the president of the Progressive Shareholders Association, Boniface Okezie. Thank you very much for joining us at this time.
My pleasure. Afternoon, viewers.
Yeah, well, you're a big shareholder with Owando PLC. Now, what's your attitude to these controversies associated with the operations of this very, very big company in the oil and gas sector?
Yeah, of a truth, yeah, but the analysis so far by a stockbroker there, I know them, yeah, Owando have not been forthcoming in terms of dividend of recent. That's obvious, clear to the market, and which are impacted negatively on the activities of Owando among Nigerian investors, even those in diaspora who are invested. Owando of late, were doing very excellent well as an indigenous oil, who also, it didn't realize that, Owando also acquired Ajib. When Ajib was existing, one of the Italian giant in the country. They moved into it. When Owando also came on board, acquired Unipetroleum, that metamorphosed into Owando we're seeing today. So at that time, they started well. It is not a crime for an indigenous company to have an ambition to move outside the shore, but you need to consolidate home front, begin to build our business. But ambitious so it were, is to create value for the company, to enhance the operations so that they can play bigger into the larger market. That was the end of acquiring those companies and moving out of the shores, because that will only face indigenous company that want to go into upstreams, okay? And everybody were happy at that time. Yes, like the interview was done, going to ConocoPhillips acquisition.
Exactly.
That was what dragged them down. We begin to ask questions. We ask questions. Were there duly diligence carried out on this company before venturing to it? The equipment they are selling, was it obsolete to you? Because if you are moving into acquisition of such a company, there must be due diligence to ascertain what you are going in. Is it going to profit for you at the end of the day? Will you be able to make profit from those assets, when you use it to drive your own operations? So this is piece of it. So Owando issue have become in the front burner for quite a time now. But I think that issue must have to put to rest so that the investors and the companies will move forward. That came also brought in SEC, okay? When some shareholders begin to write petitions, because at that time when they had the meeting last year on 2016 account, that was in Uyo, there was a problem.
Yes.
Papers went awash. Medias, that this gym not hold, there's going to be a war. So when SEC look at those things, well, you have to go and hold your gym. It's statutorily allowed. Let your shareholder know how you're operating, the scorecard, So when SEC looked at auditors raised issues on growing concern by Ernst & Young, these are international auditors, They raised issue of growing concern. That growing concern means, your liability, even if you said whole assets, cannot be able to solve the problem you have on ground, So we manage and hold that AGM. And that's when investigation on Owando commenced. But SEC said, okay, go and hold the AGM. We still go on and investigate, which the company alluded to. Because even as we are holding this AGM on you now, it does not SEC also calling for one paper or the other to supply them information. That is where the problem started. Now, some of the shareholders call for big time. Those who have transaction, were they properly done? From 2007 to 2012, what happened? What led to this incident? Says, okay, fine, for us to get into the bottom, into the root of this matter, we need to call in forensic audit, who will carry a holistic audit, yes. Look into the activities of the company, know where people have been shortchanged, know where the director who claimed the ownership, were they fully paid or not, These are things that the auditors have to unravel, look at into activities, Yet the audit have been conducted on normal audit, cost of audit, whose information are supplied by the directors. But when you're talking of forensic audit, it's going to be holistic. It's not going to be on the financial year. So every activities must conduct in depth to come out so that, people will see whether Owando being the management or board have been exonerated or they are culpable in the allegation made against them, including that some of the directors are shareholders who also petition SEC, So this issue will unearth how one have been fall short or not, So SEC have been doing that. Then technical suspension on equity was slammed, which almost 6 months on the run, no activities.
But really, is that valid, that technical suspension? Because I attended a forum where some people said even in the SEC laws and maybe the capital market laws, the technical suspension shouldn't have even come at all.
Yeah, but when such announcement is being made, there's an issue, a problem on the company. You can suspend trading equity, not what technical suspension. You can suspend trading maybe in a few days, a week or 30 days. Allow issue to stabilize before the regulators move in or with their forensic audit as agree with the parties, including the company. Yes. Then when things stabilize, you lift it, control trading. Because for me, trading at the floor will not stop the investigation going in the company.
Clearly.
So that's what SEC did. After due consultation among stakeholders, SEC said, okay, fine. Investors have agreed that this issue should be lifted. But because of the company went to court, and some of the few shareholders went to court, SEC said, well, we cannot lift this suspension except those others have been vacated. Then we can lift the suspension. So when that done, SEC move ahead and lift it, which was the best interest of the market. That's what SEC acted, because they are the regulator, protecting investors, and the company as well. Because for me, at that time when to their decision, is not to create a run on the company, because their fear was that the price may dwindle into ordinary tissue papers, okay? Because it was trading at the time before this suspension was made. It was traded about 5 naira, I think 90 kobo, thereabout, They said, okay, this may go to 1 naira. Because this is a stock people bought at 15 naira or 20 naira, thereabout, So if such thing happen, people will lose their investments. Yeah. And since that wasn't happen, says, okay, let's lift this suspension so that the investor can trade. You can exit. You can go in a take position. By the time that first week, the announcement was made, the first day, it gained 10%. The next day, it gained 10%. That's 20% in a row, So making that, the share moved from 5 naira to 6 naira to 7 naira. Even at last week, it was trading about 9 naira 95 kobo, close to 10 naira, before it's now coming down to 9 naira, is it 60 kobo thereabout, So these are things. We find that investors have made even gain. Those who bought at lower price can exit. That's the essence of going to the market. It may not wait for the endless dividend that may not forthcoming in 1 year or 2 years thereabout, You take advantage of capital appreciation and offload. So this is what SEC did, so that investors can recoup their money, cannot even go into losses, as the case may be. So SEC was applauded. But interference for the ministry, that led to removal of the acting DG. Don't forget that we have now acting DG in the subsequence of 5 months or thereabout, after the SY DG was suspended over this issue, the activities led to wonder where the DG then was accusing the minister because he ordered investigation. The minister said, no, I was in the hearing, National Assembly. I didn't interfere because when you make that, you didn't refer to the Minister of Finance before you take that decision, We okay it for the interest of the market. Why you are leading to that, that kind of things. So, and she said on that day that ministry is not opposed for forensic audit. Even as we speak at that time, that the investigation is still going on, that the Minister of Finance cannot interfere in stopping the investigation of Owando, because that's for the interest of the market, So what baffles me, if this acting DG have done well by lifting the suspension, which there's no word, technical suspension, anywhere in the world, it doesn't arise, technical suspension. So I don't know what led for the man to now say, okay, after lifting the suspension, the following day, you now make an announcement, it has been removed. Then something to it. Because people that allude to it because of Owando, even if it's not one day, So for us, that judgment was faulty. It was uncalled for. Because demand, confidence is what drives the market. Confidence is rather the building in the sector. That's why we are concerned. Into the market, at larger market, the market demand have been rebuilding with the staff workforce. They are trying to create, enabling environment for investors to come in and to try. And Minister struck, which is uncalled for.
Because, it's so interesting. I know you have, the passion is there, I can see. Now, dividends issues are here now, corporate governance issues are here now, and all of that. Where do we go from here? What's the way forward for Owando now? What do we do?
Yeah, Owando is a company where they're still investigated, as we said earlier. Owando, I think the board management have learned their lesson over this crisis, that tomorrow or wonder, today or wonder, they should put their house in order. Filing your report as a hand due, they were doing that in the past. I agreed. I wonder in times past have not defaulted in filing the annual returns. But this one now, they have made an announcement, a statement, because of investigation, Financial Reporting Council have not been allowed them to file in their report of 2017. That you can understand, you can excuse them on that, because of investigation. But they must put their act to order. As soon as they go ahead, they should to file their report. Even if you make, last year there was no profit, it was also a loss. So they didn't pay dividend. So what we are saying today, if at the end of the forensic audit, that will put them in a position that if the management need to be sacked, they should go and pave way for that to come in and inject fresh idea, fresh blood to run or wonder, so that people can get the benefits of investment. They're doing investments, it's dividend and capital appreciation. These are tools that are pari passu. And if those are not there, then the company, something is wrong fundamentally. So we are saying that, they put the out to order, run this company. Those guys have good ambitions to take the company to the next level, to compete with foreigners, because that's indigenous company that went into upstream, You look at Seplat of yesterday, who have been not doing very well. They are also indigenous oil and gas. So one does be able to do well. Even if you are not on the downstream, you're on the upstream, you should be able to do well. So that investors can be proud, says, this made Nigerian. We are proudly made in Nigeria. That's what a wonder should have been. Paying dividend for years thereabout, dividends are not forthcoming. Nobody's happy because you invested to reap dividend, no matter how small it is. Yes. Yeah, we agree that when they did this acquisition, dollar pricing was, on downward trend. It was not good for them. The oil was dropping, the price was on downward street, they were not good for them, because when the barrel oil is higher, they're able to make more money. They're able to translate in paying dividend. But that is not to say that a wonder has no future. They have future. If the board know what they're doing, prioritize their thinking to move the company forward. In the next 1 year, even if it's 200 billion, they can write it off by coming back to profitability.
I think there needs to be a part 2 for this discussion. President, Progressive Shareholders Association of Nigeria, Boniface OKZ, they're giving in-depth analysis into issues surrounding Owando PLC and all that.